we have the incredible Fabio Torlini with us today. I am going to give Fabio a quick intro, and then we're going to go into a Q&A where I'm going to absolutely grill him with some tough questions about marketing and tech life. I'm just kidding. I'll go a little bit easy on you at least. Yeah, Fabio founded the WP Engine London office, which I think has eventually now become EMEA. So it's gone from 1 person to 120 people. I think, yeah, gone from sort of 2,000 to 12,000 customers, which is a pretty incredible amount of growth, and 9 times revenue in 5 years, which is really, really good. I think my favorite stat though for WP Engine as a whole is essentially they host 5% of the internet. So if you're looking for a tech company with gravitas, then I think WP Engine would be definitely classed as one. So yeah, thank you, Fabio, for your time here today. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to sort of backing and forthing on some of these things. So I'm going to stop presenting so that we can see your lovely face as you start to talk. But yeah, I think probably the best place to start would be, you're not allowed to sell WP Engine today. Little quick rule for you. But if you could start by telling us the top 5 things about WP Engine that people should know and that would really help them if they knew, I think that'll be a nice little way to go, right?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thanks, Phil. I was a little bit worried for a second there. When Gareth pulled the presentation up and Nick pulled the deck up, I thought, am I going to have a deck ready to go as well?
Don't worry.
I did actually pull some slides together. I thought, damn it, I better have a few just in case. But no, we're good. We're good with a Q&A. Yeah, obviously we can look at this from a very different angle compared to Nick and Gareth, because and also yourself, Scott, because of course when you're talking about website creation and website marketing, a key component is of course the online stack, and that's where WP Engine play. So number one, if we're going to talk a little bit about WP Engine, we've got to talk about WordPress. So I guess stat number 1 is WordPress itself is by far the most dominant content management system in the market. So if somebody chooses to utilize a content management system, 60% of the time it's WordPress, and 34% of all 34% of all websites in the world are built utilizing WordPress. So number 1, it's open source that's driving really the creation of websites in the world, and we're the market leader when it comes to managed WordPress, especially from a B2B perspective. So that's another little stat, I guess. That's two. 3, we work really closely with agencies because, of course, we are the tech stack, and when it comes to advertising your site, you've got to make sure that tech stack is very performant. It's got to be fast. So you've got to make sure that you're running and optimizing that WordPress inside out. You're keeping it secure, you're making it fast, and you're making it available. Because Google look at those metrics almost as much as they do the content of the website. So if your website's slow, your website's not performing very well, Google will look at that and say, not a very important website, we'll lower your rankings. Which means you have to then counterbalance that and spend more money from a marketing perspective. Also, when you are spending and people are coming to your website, you want to make sure that they're getting a good optimized experience, because otherwise they're more likely to leave your website and less likely to convert as well. So the tech stack from that perspective is really, really key. So 1, I guess number 3 is we work really closely with agencies. Key differentiator for us is support. So WordPress is open source. And open source is great because you've got so many people actually working on the open source project. It is really rapid in terms of being able to adapt to changes in the market. But of course, you want somebody who knows WordPress inside out to be able to provide that level of support when you need it, rather than having to go to the community all the time. So the fact that we're a leader from a support perspective is really key. And I guess the last one is the other side of partnerships, of course, the tech partnerships. We work really closely with people like Amazon, Google, New Relic, Cloudflare, of course, to complete that whole tech stack for our customers. So 5 things that kind of gives you a rough idea of what we do, Scott, without pitching.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, edging on pitching there, but I think we're all right. So you were one of the original guys over at Rackspace, right? Which would be, you know, probably seen as like the original hosting company almost, before things shifted on and moved towards the sort of service based, like you're saying, like heavy on customer service and that side of things, which obviously WP Engine is. What sort of gave you the sort of need or the desire to sort of move out of that Rackspace environment, because you had a lot of success in that environment? What sort of drew you to WP Engine and I guess away from Rackspace?
Yeah, I mean, Rackspace was an amazing ride for me. You know, when I joined Rackspace in Europe, there was 10 people, and we were based out of the data center. So you can ever imagine a data center. This was just after the tech bubble as well. So back in 2003, show my age a little bit. But we had the data center. Our office was in one corner of the data center, and the servers were in the other corner of the data center. And if a customer phoned in and wanted the server rebooted, we'd actually have techs get onto a scooter and actually scoot across the data center, because it was so empty back then after the tech bubble, and to get to our little data center suite and reboot the servers. So we went from that to, you know, in the 11 years I was there, we grew it to over 1,000 employees in Europe, 6,000 employees globally, and from, you know, a couple of million to a couple of billion. So it was a massive ride, and, you know, Rackspace was in the right market at the right time, because it was really the first company to focus on managed hosting and offering a service around, you know, managing infrastructure for clients and doing it really, really well. And you know, that was an amazing ride. But the market fundamentally changed, as always. You know, tech moves really quickly, and cloud came along, and managing infrastructure per se was less important. So it was harder for Rackspace to actually differentiate itself in the market. And you can see where it is today now. It's much more of a partner with Google and AWS, and it actually is more of a cloud reseller rather than a hosting company in its own right. And WP Engine was just playing in a different market. It was playing at the application layer. So Rackspace never really went into that application layer. It was just all about the infrastructure. Whereas WP Engine goes into application layer to optimize the application for our clients, build a whole bunch of tools around the application itself. So, you know, it's very service orientated, but it is more of a tech company than Rackspace in many ways, just because we play at the application layer as well. Almost more of a SaaS company.
Brilliant. I'm sort of tempted to ask you now whether Slack plays a big part in your organization.
Oh.
Hearing that pinging off in the background. So yeah, I think focusing slightly more on, because we're here to talk about tech, right? So to drill down a little bit more into that, and you've got quite a bit of experience with marketing and particularly, obviously, tech businesses and leadership within tech businesses as well. So to sort of ask, I guess, a more direct question, tech related, then, what would you say is the best marketing tech stack, and why, in your opinion?
Oh yeah, that's a difficult one, because the marketing tech stack is just massive now.
Huge.
And it's huge. It's absolutely huge, and it's going to vary between organizations. So, you know, I do think somebody who targets consumers is going to have a very different tech stack to somebody who targets B2B and organizations and companies. You know, the go-to-market's very different, and there's different elements of the tech stack as well. So, you know, you've got a whole ton based around the website and optimizing the experience which you have on your website. But for B2B, that journey continues way past the website as well. You know, it's really interesting when you look at the tools which we utilize. We utilize tools like Sendozo and Vidyard, which is more around creating that a relationship and experience with the end user once you're actually starting to kick off the conversation. Because, you know, we of course convert customers on our website, but the majority of especially the larger deals have a much longer sales cycle. So it's how you build those relationships, how you keep those relationships warm, how you understand your clients inside out. So a lot of our stack actually focuses on that side. yes.
Where would you say the sort of automation goes too far? Like, at what point is it, and what level is it too much to automate versus? Because I think we want efficiency, right, in tech businesses. We want to cut out a lot of the human interaction, not to get rid of humans, but just to make it more efficient for the humans to do their job. I'm sort of saying that almost like humans versus robots, but yeah, where does it go too far with automation? Where's the line for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously relationships are key for us. You know, you're a great partner of ours. Scott Illustrate have always been a great partner of ours, and we work with many agencies, and relationships are really key. And you can never build a solid relationship if you automate every single interaction. So I really think a lot of the automation has to be around identifying who you should be focusing more of your personal time on, and then that's where the human element takes over, because with a large customer base, with 120,000 customers, we cannot talk to all of those customers, and all of those customers want us to be picking up the phone and having a conversation and going to meet with them all of the time. So actually, we can use a lot of data and a lot of technology to say, well, actually, this is the section of customers or partners that are really going to benefit from having that deeper personal relationship, and that's where we're going to focus. And also, people coming to our website. There are some people who just want to buy without being disturbed, without their journey being interrupted. So which are the ones we should interrupt, because we're going to be able to give them a better experience and ensure they're buying the right solutions, and which ones should we lead through a more automated style, and so on. So I think the focus really has to be on the customer experience and how do you optimize that customer experience. And then it's a mixture of two, and AI is obviously going to step into that as well as the technology industry continues to develop and so on. So yeah, I definitely think it's a mix, but you've got to use technology to identify who you should be focusing on from a relationship perspective.
Absolutely, yeah. And within that sort of MarTech stack, which obviously you said is huge. What is it, like 34,000 or something mad like that in terms of MarTech platforms? Which have you found as WP Engine? Which have you found integrate most seamlessly with WordPress?
Well, I can tell you what we utilize. A lot of the key tools that we utilize. I mean, one is HubSpot. We use HubSpot inside out for, again, continuing that conversation. Once you're actually talking to people and so on. Salesforce, again, ultra key for us. Again, to be able to keep all of that data in, and then we integrate tools like Clearbit and Zoom Info, so we can actually understand a little bit more who we're talking to. So again, if we want to identify who we should be having those deep relationships with, we've got a lot of tools to actually give us additional data on people. So one element is what they're doing on their website and reacting to what they're doing on the website, and that's something which HubSpot can help us with. And then the other elements are in terms of how do we continue the conversation post the website, and we use tools like SalesLoft, and then data enrichment tools like Zoom Info and Clearbit. So different tools for different things, but yeah, it's all about that continued journey after they've initially reached out on the website for us.
Are there any platforms you would say are sort of under the radar that not many people know about, but they should?
I think so. Especially, I said some of those smaller elements like Vidyard, people probably don't know. And what our sales guys will actually do to create a more personalized outreach is actually sometimes send a little video to clients. So rather than the standard email, a nice little personalized video, one-on-one, bespoke, we'll send those to our clients. And lots of people won't know about Vidyard. Sendoza is another one where you can send little personalized gifts and so on. They're just small personal touches which other companies aren't going to be doing out there, which is going to make you stand out.
I've never had one of those from you, so I'm wondering if our partnership manager is gonna send one across. if he's listening to this. So you touched earlier on about you obviously specialize in WordPress, and it's a very well used platform. 34% of the internet, which is a much bigger figure than 5% of the internet on your platform. 5% though. 5% of the internet should give people enough confidence around WordPress. So what do you reckon are the most common reasons that people choose not to use it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely historically, security was a fear around WordPress. we find that less now. You know, we've got a large number of fintech companies and banks on our platform, but there's still that inherent fear about WordPress. And really, the key issue around WordPress on that is there is over the last count, which the last figure I know, it was over 60,000 plugins for WordPress alone. So when you're talking about those integrations, you know, there's over 60,000 different plugins which help integrate something into your WordPress website. And you know, if you're not keeping WordPress up to date, and if you're not keeping those plugins up to date, you can create a security issue, which is why you need to come to like a managed hosting provider like us, because we'll update WordPress on behalf of our customers, and then we actually have tools which will update plugins on behalf of our customers as well. So we've got our own AI tool which will effectively take a snapshot of your site, update your plugins, ensure that nothing's changed. If nothing's changed and everything's working well, you know, we'll give it all, the all clear, update the site, and let our customers know. So, you know, you can definitely make WordPress secure, but if you don't, and if you're lazy, and if you don't update it and you don't look after it, of course, you're going to open yourself up to vulnerabilities. But that's the same for any technology. That's the same for your Microsoft Windows, or if you're not updating, you have to update your software to keep it secure.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people see it as the, you know, most hacked platform sort of thing, don't they? But it's also the most used one, so it's bound to be the most hacked. It's just a bit funny stats on that one. Yeah, I think you're right on that as well. And I you know, admittedly, last night I was thinking, oh, how are we going to do these sort of Q&A question things? And we use HubSpot as well, and it took me about half an hour last night to integrate HubSpot fully into our site and set up forms, and they're now submitting back. So, and I can see the answers coming in here to the questions as well. So the actual questions coming in. So yeah, you're totally right. Like I set that whole page up and the whole integration up in half an hour. It's so simple and straightforward. There definitely becomes a point at which there are too many plugins. Like, you know, there's a certain number there, but that's probably a discussion for another time, I guess. To flip the question on its head, then, like, how do you feel about the fact that 95% of the world isn't on your platform?
Well, there's plenty of market for everybody out there. You know, when you look at the market, obviously some people do prefer to manage WordPress themselves, and you know, there's lots of people who have relatively simple websites which are not going to be on our platform. We don't optimize our platform for everybody. We're not the cheapest out there, and we're not a fit for every single company out there. You know, there's a much better fit for probably the majority of people who have simple sites. You know, if you've got a simple site and you know, the speed, optimization, performance, support is not important for you, why are you going to pay the premium to come to an organization like ours? You know, you can easily go to, and without being derogatory to somebody like GoDaddy, you know, they do a great job for that simple website. So yeah, there's a wide market, and we have to specialize, and we specialize against high performance websites and agencies. Important
when you attack brand to know who your audience aren't, though, right? And know what you want to cut out of your marketing and what you want to focus on.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, otherwise you can spend and waste a lot of money with online marketing. You know, one thing to mention, of course, my background at Rackspace was that I ran marketing for Rackspace internationally. So obviously a wider commercial role now, but yeah, marketing background through and through as well.
You know your stuff, basically.
The problem is it changes so quickly. So yeah, used to.
Yeah.
I bow down to Nick and Gareth now.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Have you observed any trends and changes this year? You know, of sectors changed, as volume of traffic changed, anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been at the whirlwind, the tornado of COVID, of course, you know, and we've been at the center of that. And we've definitely seen winners and losers within our customer base, because we've got that large customer base, and you can see what's happening, you know, from a traffic profile perspective. And, you know, basically COVID has accelerated some of the trends that are out there anyway. You know, there's already a trend for relearning, but just all of a sudden that trend was on steroids and just went through the roof. You know, there's always, you know, there's been a trend for a while now in terms of moving towards online shopping and e-commerce. But of course, COVID just accelerated that. And there's a number of companies which were maybe dabbling on e-commerce, or retailers, or even people who are selling to wholesale, that all of a sudden had to shift their whole business to being completely online. And then there's other elements as well. We saw an increase in mental well-being sites. So when people are in lockdown, they needed that support and needed help. There's a lot of websites and services out there can actually help people. We saw increases on that side. Of course, spikes in media and news. And on the opposite side, where we definitely saw dips, was on the travel. We've had to help and support a lot of our customers in the travel industry because of course they saw their traffic almost almost disappear overnight. And then again, companies which focus on maybe sport or betting, as all of that was on hold. So there was definitely some organisations and companies which really suffered because of COVID. But I think the majority, from an online perspective, actually did pretty well, and it helped accelerate that. And the conversation is really, once we go back to normal, will that stick? And maybe not 100%, but at least half of that increase, we believe, will stick. There'll definitely be a shift in people's attitudes towards online.
There's a lot of talk about it. It's accelerated the inevitable with shift to digital for a lot of people, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. There's going to be retailers out there which just won't come back. But likewise, as I said, there's a lot of online businesses which are just growing crazily right now.
Given the current state of the world, sort of if you were a prophet, I guess, in the next 12 to 18 months, where do you see WP Engine going?
Yeah, actually, we've got a lot of investment at the moment. So a lot of investment into R&D. We're doubling the investment into R&D, and WordPress itself continues to develop and change. Whether it was Gutenberg that came a while ago, we continue to build a whole bunch of tools around Gutenberg. But headless is a big thing for us as well. So without going into horrendous technicalities, headless is about decoupling WordPress at the back end and what you're delivering for people to be able to see at the front end. And yeah, we've got a whole team actually working aggressively on building a nice headless stack for our agency partners and so on as well. So yeah, you'll see a lot more coming from us in terms of mainly on the product side.
And for anyone who's not heard of headless or might be considering it, what would be the best use case for it? Why is headless an important future tech?
Yeah, because digital experience is just not the website now. Website's obviously a key part of it, but you've also got mobile applications, and you've also got that website and the central source of all your content, which just needs to talk to a whole bunch of different systems or be displayed for different elements now. So that's something which headless can do very well. It just gives you actually sometimes a faster, better performant website, but ability to actually talk to different systems and different tools.
Real, but not the answer to everything either, right?
Definitely. No, I think the majority of the companies won't be utilizing headless, because of course creates complexity for you as well.
That's really good. I think some great answers there. Yeah. Thank you so much, Fabio, for your time. I know we're all super busy at the moment, so I really am thankful for your time on this webinar today. Obviously, thank you as well to everyone tuning in or watching afterwards, and a massive thank you to Wales Tech Week and Technology Connected as well for putting this whole week on. Yeah, just as a quick reminder, if anyone wants any follow-ups, anyone wants any connections within any of these businesses that we've been chatting through today, just go to illustrate.digital/WTW, submit your question, submit a query, whatever you've got, and yeah, we'll be more than happy to help afterwards. Yeah, thank you everyone, and have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, Scott. Bye.